Hey everybody, and I hope you have seen, I've been walking around the store and I was wearing my mask, and again, for the lip reading, the mask comes off. Unless I want to swear, in which case then I put the mask on and just say it under my breath. I'm just kidding, I never swear. Actually, that's a lie.
I swear I don't swear.
Yeah. I'm holding this plant. It doesn't really show very well, but Brandy is super excited. It's called Baby Bunny Bellies.
Oh, I'm so smitten. It's my new plant.
And literally that feels like it, well, I haven't felt that many baby bunny bellies, but it literally, it's crazy how soft that feels. It feels like velvet.
Oh.
So, but the purpose of this show today isn't to talk about baby bunny bellies, though we could dedicate a show to that. What we're talking about today is setting up the setup. So, we've talked about this week various ways you can do it. In fact, just moving everything inside. Everything from small setups to full tents, and then we ran the gamut on lights. And again, lighting, a lot like fertilizers. It's a more in-depth subject than 15 minutes allows me to capture. There's a lot more to it. But I wanted to demystify it for you guys. That was the purpose of yesterday's episode. By no means, shape or form do I think that yesterday answered every question you may have on lighting. May actually have increased the questions you have. But hopefully now you feel confident to ask those questions and know there is a lighting option for you. So what we have to do now is we have to address setting up what other factors do we need. And in the purpose of being completely lazy, I did my setup where it was most convenient and then didn't move this. So we're going to go for a walk this way, not too far, and we're going to come to here. So if you guys remember, I'm going to go back this way. Now I'm coming back this way. If you guys remember, yesterday we discussed this little bulb, and it is the basic bulb. It really doesn't get more elementary than this, but this can do you a great favor. So this lamp is literally from my office. And when I was upstairs grabbing it, I actually snapped a couple of pictures. And you can see right there, that's my setup. So I've got that light and all my plants. I mean, that's a pothos, it's doing great. Most of those plants have been orphans or I've germinated myself. That's why they're not huge, but you can see they're all healthy, they're all where they should be. That's in an area that gets zero natural sunlight. All those plants are using, other than me giving them water and fertilizer, which I've actually stopped because now we're letting them go into a period of dormancy for the winter. But all they're getting is this light. And honestly, it's as simple as one of those lamps and you turn it on. And that's all it is. And right under here, we've got some herbs, we've got some other plants growing. And that's it. That right there, I think this lamp cost me 10 bucks. The bulb cost me 10 bucks. That's a $20 setup. I can do 3 plants, but I can even do a few more. If you take some plants, ferns, they don't like direct light. So I set him back a little bit. Maidenhair, it's probably a her. I set her back a little bit, and she's going to capture just the ambient light that a fern needs. So you can actually stage plants around a setup like this. It's not, one per plant. Build them around it. Then if you've only got low growing plants, like that, the great thing about this, you can come right down on it. Okay, that's why I like these movable ones. You got a taller plant, and I'm just going to use the maidenhair. Actually, what I'll use is our herb, because we know herbs do like a lot of light. I can set it back so I'm not burning on the bulb, because I mean, that's not, I can grab it, but it's warm, and if a plant leaf was to touch it, it would burn. And I can set that up so it's sitting there and getting all the light it needs. And I could have some basil under there, some rosemary, some mint, some dill, anything like that. So now we know our lighting works. Now, wherever you're tuning in from, I assume it is fall, or as we said, some people have spring. you're going into summer. But in the summer it can get a little hot, and a lot of us set up fans. And when you're growing a plant like this, you want to emulate outdoor conditions. So if you remember, I think it was on the page we did yesterday, I set this up to be lazy and I'm running backwards and forwards more than I would have. But the purpose of a light is to emulate the sun. That is why we have that. So what we're trying to emulate when we do this, the idea is to capture enough of the growing medium. And don't mind this spectrum here has nothing to do with this light if Brandy captures that. But this is emulating a spectrum of the sun, so the plant's growing. But that's it. That's all it's doing. We're going to give it some water, so we're emulating rain, if you will. That's all it's doing. Now, a plant that grows like this in a very static environment will grow weaker. Outside, it's got wind, it's got breeze. Even on days when we don't feel the wind, there's a chance that there's a breeze going, or there's bugs crawling on it, or a bird hits it. Any number of outside factors, elements of the outdoors, that we can't create indoors, or we don't want indoors, bugs, wild birds, that kind of thing. Well, this plant isn't getting those benefits. And I know what you're thinking, well, why is there a benefit of a bug? But remember when we talked about the beneficial bugs. So a spider or a ladybird does't weigh anything on us, but on these little branches, it's going to cause it to bend and come back up. Well, it's like anything. If you work out and you're lifting weights, or whoa, look at me go, like me, I mean, clearly.
Clearly.
I love how you don't say it with any sarcasm in your tone, but I can hear the sarcasm. I can't wait to see your little pop-up under that one. Anyhow, moving right along. Thanks for the ego hit, Brandy.
You're welcome.
This plant isn't getting a workout. So what you can do is you can take your fan from the summer and snap it on, and again, you have to think about your space. So now, that's getting the idea of wind, and what that does is that constant movement strengthens the stem, and a stronger, healthier plant is better able to adapt to photosynthesis, bringing water. It's more forgiving if you forget to water or if you overwater. This is going to be more forgiving if it is a overall stronger plant. And again, in my whole thing about doing a setup and making sure that you have what you need. Maybe you don't have room to set one of these up. Use just a little snap-on fan. Okay, they can be pretty powerful and give it that movement. And again, everything is portable here, so you're like, oh, that isn't enough. You can very simply move that into the fan and move your light with it. So you can make this work to the conditions you've got at home. And the fans are really important. And another thing a fan will do as well is the very nature of having a soil and giving it water for the plant to absorb. Well, obviously the plant isn't going to drink all of it. We know that even outside on the hottest day, you water your plants, you water your garden, water your grass. You can go out 2 hours later and it's still damp, or if you push down on the soil, you feel the moisture. This plant can't possibly drink all of that up. So with no wind movement whatsoever, that's sitting there like that. What can start happening? Your house is nice and warm, it's the winter, we want to stay warm and we want to have those nice conditions. Well, what can happen is your plant can now start getting fungus and mildews coming up into it. Not really going to hurt you per se, it's not like a black mold in the house or whatever. It's bad for the plant, it's unsightly, and you don't want cross-contamination getting into your other houseplants. Again, that fan's going to help with that. It's going to help the soil dry out, it's going to help with air circulation, and it's going to keep that away. So a small fan, a big fan, again, whatever you set up, one of these will fit in the tent, one of those will clip onto the pole on the side of your tent, go into your kitchen, you can get a desktop fan, whatever you need to make it happen. Again, it's putting it together. It's kind of like, probably date myself here, but MacGyvering things together to make it work. Now, say you are limited for room, and I'm going to use this big light for the example here, just because it's way more contrasting. You have limited room, this is all the room you've got, if this is your back wall, but you need more light, but you can't introduce another bulb, how can you increase your light? Well, that's where, let's move these guys again, that's where reflectors come to play. So, we'll turn this big light on, and as you can see, you can barely notice that light's on now because of the power of this one, and that's great. This is probably one of the best growing lights you're going to get. And there we go, turn it on full. So this, and I just cut a small piece. This is literally what they call black and white poly. Don't know how it got the name. I guess that's lost forever. We'll never know. But this is black and white poly, and the idea behind it, as you know, I hope you know, we talked about it before, white or light colors reflect light, black or dark colors absorb light. So what you want to do with this is you take this and you literally put it next to your light, and it's going to cause reflection. And if you want to see how much reflection it causes, Brandy and I did this earlier, and we both regretted it because being the geniuses we are, we were looking directly at it. But this is the amount of reflection you're going to get. So put that down, yeah, you can see the lights. You open it up, and that's literally blinding to look at. I don't know how it's coming out on camera. Let's not blind our audience. And this is ridiculously cheap. And quite honestly, you take something like this, a little bit of Scotch tape, and tape it there, you're increasing the reflection. So you've increased your light without adding more light. I'm going to just turn this guy off up here, and then you can see, even using this, if we aim that there, it got brighter. And that's simply using a reflector that comes in. You know what, we were talking about that with lights the other day. I actually prefer how it looks with this light on.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's way nicer. It actually makes me feel happier seeing that. But anyway, I digress. So literally a few little add-ons and things like this, you can start growing herbs and microgreens anywhere in your house, anywhere. You're not limited now to being like, oh no, I need to put everything in front of the window. I've done that before, I've been there, okay? Before I really understood how all this worked, maybe a decade ago, I'm gonna have to stand like this.
It's the daily doggo!
Yeah. He was beautiful. I had a south-facing window. Nobody else could get in to enjoy that window because of the amount of plants I had around it, trying to capture as much sunlight as I could. Not another plant anywhere in my house, and there was no beauty to it. They were just jammed in for efficiency. A setup like this, a dark corner in the basement now, an office that gets no natural light, like my upstairs office. I don't need those horrible halogen overhead lights. I use full spectrum lights like this. My plants are thriving, and it looks amazing. So, very simply, that's what you need to start putting together to really give you a full grow experience in your house. And it's a lot of fun. And like you see, we can do herbs, we can do tomatoes, house plants for ornamental, big lights, small lights, floor fans, clip-on fans, a piece of poly, and that's it. And your chances of growing successfully have leaped forward.
Yeah, I don't know.
Moved forward.
There you go.
Advanced.
Ah.
So we'll leave you with that. We're out of time. And again, there are some other hacks you can do. A heat mat, always a good one. Things like that. So we'll leave you with that. I hope you guys had fun this week. We'll see you tomorrow. Bittersweet Day, Hawaiian Shirt Friday, but the final episode of Season 2. But we'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Bye, everyone.